Hi guys, so this is a video I've done to show you how to cleanse, charge and activate your crystals. Now if you're like me, you really need to sort of visualize it, so I thought this time while I'm cleansing them I would show you guys exactly sort of how it's done and just give you an idea how a lot of people do it. Now you only need to do really one method for each, but I like to use them all, like just to double check that everything's charged, cleansed and activated and ready to go for the month. So how often you would do this depends on you, how often you use your crystals, how often you don't. So I'm someone that actually uses my crystals like daily, so I like to do them at least once a month, but I'm giving them a bit of a cleanse and all that and charging them up throughout the month, doing basic stuff anyway. So this sort of thing I would do around the time of the full moon, just because I find that I've sort of got that time set out for the month, but also that I can set them out and charge them in the moonlight. So when you're clearing your crystals, there's a bunch of different methods with this as well. But as you can see in this video, I like to place them in a glass bowl, and you can either do this with sea salt or you can use it with oils. Now the type of oils that you can use completely depends on you. Like in this one, I'm using eucalyptus oil, a purify and a lavender, just because I've never tried them with my eucalyptus before and I want to know how they work out smell wise. But you can use eucalyptus on its own, you can use eucalyptus and tea tree. There's a bunch of different methods online that you can look up for that. So there's a bunch of different oils, so just find out what works well for you. So what I like to do as well, like an important note, with the water, after you finish like cleansing your crystals and giving them a dry, after I've done all that, I actually like to keep the water. The reason for this is I find that you can do a lot with it. Like you can use things like aura sprays with it. Now an aura spray is basically putting that oil in a spray bottle, and because that water has been charged with the crystals, it's got oils in it, it's fantastic to use. Like I'll use that to cleanse the stones for the rest of the month and spray myself, my room, things like that. So yeah, definitely keep it. Don't waste that water, guys. Unless that water's dirty, just keep it. Yeah, another thing that I like to do is after I cleanse my crystals, I will give them some white sage, like I'll smoke them, and which is really good because I found that certain crystals you can't actually get wet. So this is a really good method for that. So I have like a piece of kyanite that's very brittle. I have a piece of malachite, and it's a raw piece, so it's very sandstony, sort of gritty type thing. So obviously those type of crystals can't get wet. So, and sage is really good for doing it throughout the month and that as well. Like I will light some white sage and I will do this around the crystals daily anyway, so just to give them that bit of extra clearing. Another thing that you can actually do is ocean water. Ocean water is absolutely fantastic. So flowing water, it could be a river as well. Stand there, hold your crystals in your hands and let the wave clear that energy. I also have a thing called a diffuser, which is made up of oils, and it's pretty much like an aura spray for the room. So I will actually set that up near my crystals and that, and give them a bit of an extra cleanse throughout the day as well. So when charging your crystals, now as I talked about earlier, moonlight is fantastic. So on the night of the full moon, you can do all 3 nights if you wish, or do it on the night where the moon is at its peak. Also with this, side note, do not place the crystals out during a blood moon. They're very rare, and I think it's only like once a year or something they actually happen, but that can actually corrupt the energy, and there's no sort of reversing that, like you reversing it. What you have to do, if that ever happens, you're going to have to give the crystals back to like the land, so which is basically the ocean or a river, something flowing, not the earth itself, because that can actually corrupt the land as well. So just give them to the ocean or a river or something like that. Another thing that you can actually do to give them a charge is place them on a larger crystal. So I will place them on either clear quartz, apophyllite, like massive geo type things. I also have a big piece of amethyst at home, so I'll put some of the tumble stones and leave them on for about 12 hours and it'll give them a good charge. Also, you can place them in the garden, as earth is is the type of energy that can constantly clear and charge your crystals. I actually have a few of my crystals that I didn't bother cleansing or charging because when I went to get them, they already felt like they were doing fine. They were like, no, we're good, leave us here, sort of thing. Like, I didn't have any feeling of that they needed to come in to be cleared. A way to activate your crystals. So there's a bunch of different methods that you can use. So what I like to do with mine is a drum. So I have a Native American drum, and that actually removes any leftover negative energy in the crystals, but it also does that for you as well. So as you're drumming, that's shifting any blockages you have in you and the crystals as well. Another thing that you can actually use, which I like to do after the drumming, is Tibetan bowls and bells. So I will just do a bit of belling and bowling, and what that does is actually it raises the vibration of the crystals and it sort of wakes them up a bit. It's pretty much doing an alarm. So, and same thing with you, it's raising the vibration of yourself and what's around you. So with that as well, Reiki and other healing energies can actually be used for cleansing and charging and activating the crystals. So but as you can see here, I sit there and I will do some Reiki and Seishim and Kimana on my crystals, and that helps also cleanse, charge and activate the crystals all in itself. But as I'm sitting there, after I've done all that, I will also place my intentions of how I want to work with each of them. So with my rose quartz, I will set up that I want to work with loving unconditional people and guides and avatar energies and things like that. So only bring in unconditional energies into mine and my family's life, have self-love without the ego, bringing in healing in to do with like relationships, emotional healing and things like that. So it's a fantastic and gorgeous loving stone that brings like healing to everything around it. Also, what I like to use is amethyst. So with my amethyst, I will set that up for things like protection. I will set it up for like how I process information as well, because it is a mental stone. So it can work with you processing my studies, what I'm doing in work and things like that. It's also, as I spoke about, it's like a highly protective stone, but it's also a very spiritual stone. So I will use this when I'm trying to communicate with my guides and raising my psychic awareness and insight and things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, as it lets me know if you like the videos and if you would like to see others like it. Let me know if you have any questions about the crystals, or if you have any other methods you use yourself for working with the crystals. Just leave them in the comments. Would absolutely love to hear about them. So have a great day. Thank you so much, and bye.